Yo, pay attention! Look at the background of this new Doors teaser. If you look closely, you'll notice that it's actually a new room in the garden subfloor. And what the hell was that? Get out of here, you utter abomination! I thought I was free of you for the past few months, but now you are back. You are not welcome here. Leave. Anyways, as you probably know, every day until the next Doors update, we will be receiving a new teaser. And today's teaser is definitely interesting, as in the background we can actually see a new room coming in the garden subfloor. We also got information about how a bunch of items will be receiving complete reworks in the next update as well. We have got a lot to discuss in this video. So with all of that being said, let's begin. Alright, so let's first go over everything new in the teaser. Now, unlike other teasers, which mostly showed confirmed new features coming in the update, this one mostly goes over ideas and community feedback about changes coming to, surprisingly, items. One idea, which is almost certainly going to be added, is a durability bar to the skeleton key. As you probably know, in addition to being used to unlock skull locks, the skeleton key also functions like a normal lockpick. However, this ability is going to be enhanced to where one skeleton key will be able to open several locked doors. Now, the two options the developers have so far is to make the skeleton key either have an infinite amount of durability, meaning it would be able to be used as a lockpick essentially forever, or it would have a set amount of uses. The provided teaser image showcases the second of the options, where the skeleton key has a total of 5 uses as a lockpick. Additionally, the skeleton key is also planned to either completely break when used on a skeleton door, or have a significant chunk of its durability consumed. Now, as for my opinions on this matter, since the developers did ask for it, I think the upcoming changes to the skeleton key will be beneficial, but I definitely think they should be tweaked. For one, I do not think the skeleton key should have infinite uses as a lockpick. This is because if this was the case, then it would infinitely be used to open locked loot containers, which as you probably know, house the best loot in the game. This means that if the skeleton key had infinite durability, finding one would allow you easy access to every single other extremely powerful item in the game. And given how skeleton keys are relatively easy to obtain, this would just lead to an unbalanced mess. I definitely think the route where the skeleton key only has 5 lockpick uses should be taken, so that way it's still better than a normal lockpick, but it's not stupidly overpowered. Now, as for the skull lock thing, I think using a skeleton key in a skeleton door shouldn't completely break the item. This is mainly so players can complete both the rooms and the upcoming garden subfloor in the same playthrough, which is a challenge I know a lot of players would like to complete. This also wouldn't cause too many balancing problems, so I think it's a route that should be taken. Now, besides the skeleton key news, there are 2 other major things presented in this teaser, those being the new pink symbol on the spotlight as well as the new garden subfloor news. Let's discuss the spotlight symbol thing, then move over to the garden subfloor. Now, as you can see, in the bottom left corner of the spotlight inventory icon, there is a strange pink symbol accompanied by a glowing effect. Now, there is only one idea I have in mind for what this could mean. I think this could be an item status effect. As you may know, some items and doors have status effects when put in certain situations. For example, putting a lighter in water causes it to malfunction due to being wet. Given how the symbol on the spotlight's icon appears to be a water drop, I feel like the spotlight and maybe other light sources could have similar effect when put in water, and the symbol is there to indicate the item is flooded. This is just a theory though, so take it with a grain of salt. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about the new garden subfloor room. As I stated, in the background of this teaser image we can see a new room that will likely be in the garden subfloor, evident by how we have never seen this room in-game before. Now, although it is a little blurry, we can still mostly make out what is going on here. There's a tiled floor with a small tree growing at its center, as well as a small wall located on the left side of the room. After the wall ends, it appears to lead to another tree growing out of the ground, and at the very back of the room is either a giant fence or a transition from tiled floor to a grassy one. All in all, the room is relatively small and tame, but it does give some insight into how the subfloor will look. This new area appears to be primarily take place outdoors. However, it appears we may be going indoors some of the time, or we will walk around in structures. Overall, though, I am glad we got another more clear look at what's inside of this subfloor, as we haven't really gotten too many teasers showcasing the inside of this new area. Now, although that is where this teaser ends, I have plenty more to say. As the developers stated, they want feedback on how to improve items already in the game. Unfortunately, as a top-tier complainer, I've got a ton of feedback to give about some of the items indoors. Let's start with the clock. This is arguably the most useless item in the entire game, only being useful in one scenario, that being the stall figure. Now, for what it does, the clock is pretty good, but its lack of versatility makes it first to go from my inventory if I find a better item. So to hopefully make the item have more functionality, I think in addition to stunning figure, it should stun the grumbles as well. What I'm thinking is when the clock is set off, in the nest, any and all grumbles nearby will be temporarily locked in place due to the high-pitched sound of the clock. Afterwards, to avoid the item being used forever, it would self-destruct. The clock still could be picked up before it rings, but I definitely think it should violently explode after ringing. Additionally, another balancing change I'd like to see is a nerf to the spotlight. Now, many of you are probably opposed to this, but frankly, I don't really give a crap. We all know my opinion is the only right one, and you guys should just be ignored. That's a joke, don't kill me for that. Anyways, back on topic, the spotlight I feel is way too powerful as it isn't properly balanced. This item is what I like to call a progression item, meaning it's part of a chain of progression. For example, the start of the chain is the lighter, then it's the flashlight as it's more powerful than the lighter yet more rare. Then it's the spotlight because it's way more powerful than the flashlight. The issue is, the spotlight has all the benefits of being absurdly better than the flashlight without any drawbacks. It's not only brighter, but it's also far more common than a normal flashlight. In fact, I've only ever found the flashlight twice in the mines naturally, which just goes to show how rare the lower tier item actually is, which shouldn't be the case. I definitely think as a simple balancing change, the flashlight should be made more common in the mines and the bulk light more rare. If you don't want to do that though, the bulk light could be made to have a lower durability, due to how much energy would need to be used to power the intense bright light. Still, I just think the item should be nerfed at least a little, as there's no reason it should be better than a flashlight with absolutely zero drawbacks. Anyways, to summarize, the skeleton key indoors will be receiving some additional features, such as more uses functioning as a lockpick and maybe even the ability to not completely break when used on skeleton doors. Additionally, a strange new symbol has been seen on the spotlight icon in this teaser image, which makes me believe item status effects will be introduced and notified to the player via these symbols on items' icons. Moreover, we got a look into one of the new rooms coming in the garden subfloor, which is present in the background of the teaser image. And lastly, I think a lot of other items in the game such as the clock and spotlight should have balancing more by being buffed or nerfed accordingly. Anyways, with all of that being said, let me know in the comments what you think of this teaser image, and thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.